This is a Fox News alert. In just about 90 minutes, 12 New York City jurors, it's all up to them, will begin deliberating Donald Trump's fate as the historic trial draws to a close.
Joining us right now on what he expects will happen is Sean Hannity. Sean, you were very matter-of-fact last night on your show. I almost felt like you had your game face on last night. Just tell me where you think, where we stand right now from the reports and the transcripts.
Is nobody that watches Fox and Friends needs to take relationship advice from Brian ever.
What does that mean? That is. Well, first off,
ever.
Could I ask you the question of the day?
Oh, do
Would
it.
you like?
Yeah, you could ask the question again.
Yeah.
Look, I said this from the beginning, and it's all been proven out to be true, and that is Donald Trump cannot get a fair trial in New York. And let me be even more clear. He has not gotten a fair trial in New York, and Mar-a-Lago is not worth $18 million. I mean, this is how perverted the system, quote, of justice, it's an injustice, is in New York. I will tell you what we've been watching is so prejudicial in the final days of this campaign. The way I described it last night, and I'll describe it here, is cinder blocks have been placed on the scales of justice in this case, especially in these closing days. The impeachment of their star witness, Michael Cohen, was so powerful that Judge Mershon had to come in with lifeline after lifeline after lifeline. You know, we saw this when he was limiting the testimony of the former FAC chair, who would have outlined that there was no campaign violation. I know because I interviewed him. He was on my show, Bradley Smith. We saw this with the judge's temper tantrum when it came to Bob Costello, who had nothing but testimony that would not only impeach Michael Cohen's testimony, but it would have also impeached the Attorney General Bragg if it was ever allowed in, because he spent an hour and a half on the phone prior to the grand jury indictment telling them about all the exculpatory information that existed that then Bragg and his team had an obligation to bring forward to the grand jury. So I'm looking at all of this, and I will tell you it is a sad day. What we really watched yesterday was they gave this broad, you know, basically the prosecution could say anything they want. Stormy Daniels can talk about dead people. Stormy Daniels can talk about salacious material. None of it relevant, none of it material, but go drone on and on. In the case of Michael Cohen, oh, it's okay. I mean, the number of hours that the prosecution spent yesterday trying to rehabilitate somebody that you cannot ever rehabilitate, a known convicted, admitted liar, etc., and now thief. They spent all this time. Oh, it's kind of okay that he lied. You know, he felt that Donald Trump done him dirty or something to that effect was the words of the prosecution.
And then, Sean, the campaign, they do a press conference, the Biden campaign, outside of the courthouse. And they say they have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, Robert De Niro. He was acting like he was bringing back his role in Goodfellas, acting like Mr. Tough Guy, and that he doesn't belong in my city. Oh, okay. Tell that to Donald Trump when he was building buildings and hiring all the people to build them.
And the ice skating rink for our kids.
But I'll tell you, it's very sobering, and it should be very chilling. Because if you believe we are a constitutional republic, if you believe in the rule of law, equal justice under the law, if you believe in any of these things, equal application of our laws, that didn't happen here. And that needs to be, you know, whatever the verdict happens to be, I mean, there's still a chance, I think, of a hung jury in this case. But I tell everybody at this point, unfortunately, you've got to expect any possible outcome here.
Sean, yesterday on your radio show, you kept saying you were more optimistic yesterday after hearing or reading and learning about the testimony of an acquittal. But then last night, you seemed to change your mind. Is it because of the judge?
It is absolutely because of the judge. While they spent the better part of the morning yesterday trying to rehabilitate Cohen, the later part was basically the judge allowing the reference to campaign violations to go unchecked, as he did, basically allowing the jury to hear that a crime was committed, which is what they are supposed to be determining in this case, even though this novel legal theory that started out as a misdemeanor whose statute of limitations had run out, you know, nobody knew what this other charge was, this mystery charge. I'm not even sure if you surveyed the jury today that they could tell you.
That's a great point.
Now, the jury, and here's my last prediction. More cinder blocks will be piled on today when he gives jury instructions. And I don't know if it's possible because everything was so prejudicial. When the judge allows the prosecution to determinatively say again and again and again, as he allowed yesterday, that this is a campaign violation and every objection is overruled, I don't know how you overcome that. That is not a court of law. This is a kangaroo court by a Biden donor judge who had it out for Trump from the beginning. He was selected purposely for this job to do exactly what he did, to throw the lifeline to the prosecution that clearly lost this case up until he put the cinder blocks on the scales of justice. It's sad, I mean, to watch this happen. Now, I'm going to add one last thing. Is regardless of what the outcome is here, and I don't know what it is, I still believe that they can have a hung jury. Well, regardless, this is not going to impact the election in 159 days from now. I'll make that prediction today as well.
Right.
And we know the Democrats, we all read the article, we all talked about it yesterday. The Democrats are in a full-fledged panic. When you see James Carville, a friend of mine, as panicked as he was over the weekend, let me tell you, it's very revealing to me.
All right, Sean, we'll check you out tonight, but also make sure you watch on Fox Nation, Outlaws and Lawmen.
Oh, you're going to love this tonight.
West now on
it's
Fox
Jesse
Nation.
James, it's Black Bart. It's Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and it's do not listen to relationship advice from Brian Kilmeade.
Right, I can't wait to see that.
Mrs. Ducey and I watched your show on Fox Nation this past weekend, so thank you very much, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.